Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Elric here with Mr. Buddy the dog and Mr. G behind the camera. Now, the reason that we're bringing you guys today's video is because my system got totally burned up in a power surge in the house. Actually caught some of my surge protectors on fire. It was crazy. It looked like a Kiss concert and shit inside of this place. I'm telling you, it was nuts. Now, this system's value is about almost $3,800. Before you guys all freak out and go, oh my God, it's so much money, oh my God. I really didn't pay for anything in the system but the CPU. I reached out to all my friends in the industry and just told them what happened. And I basically showed pictures of the burnout power surge protector, and it was crazy. So hey, they were kind enough to kick me down a lot of these parts in today's build. So the price in this really is irrelevant. I really want to show off though the case, the motherboard, and the parts in this that are really, really nice. And I really wanted to have a nice system that had a 7820 in from Intel. I figured that would pretty much be the best thing to compare against Threadripper, which by the way, I've bought my Threadripper processor. I'm just waiting for it now. So with that said though, let's jump in. Let's check out this build, which is basically my brand new gaming system, replace the old one. I think it's pretty awesome. I think you will too. So let's check this bad boy out. For this build, I wanted something that was really big and had a lot of great airflow going through it, but not only that, it would have a whole lot of features for today's gaming environment. So I chose to use the EVGA DG86 full tower case. Now this case has a whole lot of features, man. It has a software fan controller, it has a K-boost, which you can actually change your fan speed, which I think is really nice because it shows the fan speed actually on the left-hand side of the case. So that's pretty cool. I set mine for 50% and 100%, and with a click of a button, my fans are automatically changed. Inside of the case, there's also a controller for doing all of your RGB lighting, and with this build, the RGB is actually being controlled from two different places. It's being controlled hardware by the button inside the case, and then it's controlled by the software inside the Windows 10 environment. The DG86 totally fit my need, and I honestly gotta say I was really impressed with this case. Now it's a little pricey, coming to the market at 219 bucks, but still, if you want a case that not only looks good, has a lot of badass features, and it can even fit even the latest and greatest and largest radiators, this is something you want to seriously check out. And the way the case is designed, it doesn't have a restriction on airflow. In fact, airflow goes really clean right through the system, keeping all of your parts running cool. Having the window on the side is also really nice because this way you can totally show off that custom build. On the back of the case, there's plenty of room for cable management, so no matter how many wires you have, there's plenty of room back here to put and store all of your cables without looking like a messy mess. You really don't even see your cables because they're connected to the motherboard inside of the case, and once you close the door, they can be routed to the bottom or to the side and then out to your peripherals. This actually is a very clean way to do cable management with your system. All in all, the case just looks very clean. In fact, you can't even see the power supply because it's covered behind a shroud. For this build, I got lucky and Gigabyte kicked me down the X299 AORUS Gaming 9 motherboard. Now this motherboard has a lot of features, including their brand new thermal guard. It features ESS Sabre audio, RGB fusion lighting, dual LAN, killer Wi-Fi, and also 3-way SLI support if you want to go really crazy in the VGA department. The motherboard also features a lot of RGB lighting, so if you love that RGB look with a bunch of flashing lights, hey, this motherboard has it all. For the CPU, I chose the Intel Core i7 7820X processor, and I did this for two reasons. One, to be the CPU in my gaming machine, and two, so I could test it against the latest Threadripper CPU. The 7820X has 8 cores, 16 threads, a base clock speed of 3.6 GHz, and a maximum turbo frequency of 4.3 GHz. It's still based on the 14 nanometer process and has a TDP of 140 watts. If you guys follow the channel, you guys know that I use a lot of products from Corsair. They're like one of my main people that I work with. So once again, I went with one of their coolers to cool my CPU. This time, the Corsair Hydro Series H115i. Now this is an AIO cooler that actually works really nice in the system. We didn't even have any problems installing it whatsoever because the EVGA case had enough room to put just about anything in it. The memory in this build is also by Corsair, and it's pretty expensive. It's the Corsair Dominator Platinum Series 32GB set. Now this is DDR4, 3000 MHz, and currently it's about $315. Now this stuff looks absolutely great, and the only thing it's missing for the build that I would have liked is a little bit more RGB, because who can't have enough RGB? The video card from this build was also kicked down by my friends at Gigabyte, and this is their AORUS GeForce GTX 1080 Ti video card. Now, the only thing I don't like about this video card is that it weighs so doggone much that I couldn't really get away from the video card sagging a little bit. Now, I'm probably gonna have to do a little mod or something and figure something out to actually get rid of that, but you guys can see that right now that card is sagging a little bit, and that's really not the fault of the motherboard or the video card. It's just the fact this video card is huge and it weighs a lot. But with that said, it's also faster than shit, as you guys will see in the tests. Now, this next part is probably the most ridiculously priced part in the entire build, but I was able to get it from Intel, so I was like, hey, hails to the yes, I will use this. Now, this is their brand new 750 series PCI solid state drive. That's right, 1.2 terabytes of ultra fast speed. Unfortunately though, this thing's about $845, and I know most people out there aren't going to use this in their build whatsoever. I mean, let's just face it, you can get a 1 terabyte black drive for 49 bucks and be good to go. But because, like I said before, these parts are being given to me for the build, I went for the absolute best, and this really can't be beaten. For the boot drive, I went with a Corsair 4 Series LE SSD. Now, this is 480 gigabytes of SSD power, and it's perfect for my boot drive and just storing a little bit of programming. Most of my games and everything else, I'm going to keep on the Intel 750 because that's just faster than all hell. Even though you can't see the power supply, powering up this bad boy is the EVGA SuperNOVA 850. Now, this is an 80 plus gold, 850 watt fully modular power supply. Has a lot of nice features and incredibly a 10-year warranty. And let's just face it, not many people are going to actually use their computer for 10 years. Building this rig did take a few hours because paying attention to detail and doing all that cable management and everything actually does take a little bit of your time. Doesn't matter whether you're a professional or a beginner. When you're doing cable management and doing a build and trying to get everything precise, it does take a little bit of your time. Now, we had really absolutely no troubles at all with this EVGA case. It's so big and has so many features on it that it was just like pretty much putting Legos together. Like, there were no complaints at all that I could have at all about putting this build inside of that case. And in fact, if you're a person out there looking for a really radical case, I gotta say this EVGA case is really, really awesome. Some of the Corsair stuff is really nice and I like them, but at this point right now, I'd have to say this is probably my favorite case that I've seen in a couple of years. Just overall badass. No sharp edges inside whatsoever. Cable management, even though it took time, there was still plenty of room, ample space in the back for you to hide all those cables away. It looks good, right? So with that said, let's check out those performance scores. As far as the temperatures go, we saw the CPU having a maximum of 57 degrees and a minimum of 27 degrees, and for the GPU, we see a minimum of 41 and a maximum of 73 degrees under full load. All in all, I gotta say this system runs pretty damn cool and it runs absolutely silent with the fan set at 50%. All right, tech fans, so there you have it, my brand new gaming rig. Now, yes, is it probably a little overpriced, and could you build a cheaper rig out there? I'm absolutely sure that you could, but like I said, these parts were all donated to me so I could have a brand new gaming machine and actually bring more testing to you. I'm gonna start doing a lot more game stuff, which is what I actually got into the whole business in the first place, was helping people doing gaming, and as my eyesight got worse, I kind of got out of it, but now I'm going to get back into it, start bringing you guys some more game reviews, showing you guys more in-depth stuff about the games, and just a little change of the pace that things are going on around here. So Mr. Buddy was glad to see you. I was glad to see you. And like usual, all the parts that we use in this build will be down below that like button. So if you like the video, hey, you guys know what to do. And you guys can obviously change everything around in the build as you guys want to. I honestly think though that EVGA case is just amazing. I mean, it has so many features on it. And I mean, I know that it's a little bit pricey for what it is, but when you want something that's really, really cool and something you're going to be putting your parts in for a long time, why go on the cheap unless you have to? And let's just be honest with you. I mean, I've been in this industry since the very beginning, so I know just about everybody out there. So getting some stuff in to build a system for me isn't that hard of a thing to do. And I'm very, very lucky. And I thank God every day for, you know, bringing this opportunity to my life. But I mean, for me, using cheap parts and stuff when I don't have to just doesn't really add up. I mean, I know you guys like budget systems, and we'll bring a lot more of those to the table, because I know that for the people out there that don't have a lot of money, they want the budget stuff. And if I was honestly going out there and paying for all this stuff, I would probably have a different approach. But the way I see it is, since I have access, why not use it? I mean, it just makes sense. And that way I can bring killer stuff. And this system can be built by anybody out there. You don't have to be a guy who knows about water cooling and all that stuff, because the AIO is easy to install. You may have to take your time doing the build to learn how to do stuff, but honestly, the cable management and everything on a system like this can be done by anybody out there who takes their time and just slows down, pays attention to detail. You can make your system just like this with the parts that you want to use. By the way, if you guys actually prefer it where I film Anthony doing the build, let's set puppers down, let me know and we'll return to that method. It didn't seem like a lot of people were really catching on to that, but if you guys actually prefer to see the build, you know, and then we'll compress it and show you guys that, let me know. But with that said though, this system is pretty killer, you have to admit. And if you had the opportunity to get a new system, wouldn't you?